Hello everybody, welcome to the weekly bump. Thank you guys so much for being here. So as always, we have 3 piles for you to choose from. So for those of you who like to use the crystals or to feel intuitively drawn, you can take a moment, pause the video, and the timestamps for the pile that you select will be in the description box in the comment thread down below. Now, not everyone feels connected to piles, and that's totally okay. You can always just randomly select a pile as well, and there is more than likely going to be a message in there for you. All right, so I'll see you in just a sec. All right, pile number 1, you guys selected the clear quartz. So let's go ahead here, see what comes through for you. So we start off with the vulture spirit. Okay, kind of an interesting card to get. You're searching for something, or you're circling around something. I'm getting an energy of like a surveyor, like you're surveying things, observing things, watching things, keeping a really, really sharp eye out for new opportunities, for new people, for new things, whatever. You know, I feel like you're kind of seeking something to fulfill an appetite that you have for something, right? So an appetite for love and connection, or an appetite for more money, an appetite for change. You know, you're kind of just sitting perched on this branch here, just watching very, very carefully. And I don't know necessarily, like I'm not seeing a lot of action here with this particular card. So you may just be in kind of a lie-in-wait type of situation, you know, kind of waiting, waiting maybe for some of the planets to switch over. We have Venus moving into Virgo this week. We have the Sun entering into Leo. And then we have this beautiful full moon coming up here on the 23rd. And there's this sort of aspect of, let's just wait and see how things pan out, right? Let's wait and see how other people act, how other people behave, and let's just sort of feel our way through this. It's very intuitive, this vulture, and I think there's a high level of intelligence coming through here as well. You're exhibiting caution, but not because of fear, but because you are exhibiting intuitive intelligence and feeling like it's not the right time, or I want to make sure I get the right option, or I make the right choice, and I just want to make sure that it feels the way it's supposed to feel. And until you get that feeling, you're not going to move off this branch, but you're perched, you're ready, and at a moment's notice, you can fly off this branch and you can go after your target, but it's just a matter of like making sure the target is worth it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and see what these tarot cards have to say. We have an Ace of Cups, a 5 of Cups, a Wheel of Fortune, 9 of Wands, 9 of Coins. Oh, these cards are too big. And an Ace of Swords. Let me actually go like this here. So again, here's that Ace of Swords, that sort of intelligence, that sort of knowing, feeling that it's right, feeling that it's, you have an Ace of Cups and an Ace of Swords. So to me, it indicates that there's going to be a head-heart connection. There's going to be a significant level of balance within yourself. There won't be any questions. See, right now, if you're sitting here asking yourself a lot of questions, you're probably not really on the right track with the right option. Because the thing that you ultimately want, right, the lover that you want, the career choice that you want, the goal that you want, you know, like, it's going to scream at you. It's going to be very loud. It's going to be obnoxiously loud. This is what I want. This is where I want to go. And until that moment, I don't know that there's any need for you to do anything. I look at this 5 of Cups, and there's always that reminder to let things go. There's that reminder to free yourself up of grief or of sorrow or of sadness of some kind of a loss that you had in the past. I'm not saying that that's the cause of the caution. This is more of a, in the meantime, as this wheel of fortune turns over, and I really think this has a lot to do with the sun entering into Leo. Getting the Leo energy, getting that appetite for the Leo energy, the appetite for self-expression, for creation, coming into that. We also have Mercury getting ready to enter Leo on the 27th as well. So there's going to be a lot of this like majestic inner self, loud soul, like I want to express myself, I know what I want, I know where I want to go, I know how I want to do it, that kind of feeling. But again, until that, in the meantime, as you're waiting for this wheel of fortune to sort of turn over, you can work on the things that need to be released. Because you're going to need space, right? You can't be tethered down by things. Five of Cups signifies forgiveness, healing. If it is sorrow because of a loss, maybe you actually lost a loved one, maybe there was a death, or maybe there was a loss of a job. This is you coming into that place of acceptance. This would be a really, really, really good week to come into acceptance of things. Because honestly, this nine of Wands, which can be very protective and very, again, cautious is the word that I'm kind of feeling. It can get a little too sticky, right? There's the potential to stay here a little too long. You're not meant to stay on this branch forever. There are going to be people who will be on that branch much longer, and they'll eventually starve themselves to death because they don't go out and attack their goals. And that can, show up in the form of, feelings of inadequacy, or feeling very disconnected to life itself, feeling disconnected to people. But you can notice this within yourself. Notice this caution. Notice this kind of balance happening within yourself. Notice that your feet may feel just a little bit sticky. Doesn't mean you're completely planted to the ground. They're just a little sticky right now. And this is an opportunity for you to really let go of any feelings of lack of self-worth that you may still be holding on to as well. Nine of Coins. To let go of the beliefs and the thoughts that just simply cannot sustain. They just cannot, because you want the things you want. And if you continue with this narrative of not being good enough, or not being ready, or not being worthy, or not having enough resources, or whatever, if you continue with any of those kinds of narratives, the opportunities are just going to completely evade you. Entirely. They're just going to vanish right before your eyes. There's a very fine line, I feel right now, between intelligent caution, intelligent surveilling, and resistance. You have to know how to walk that line, because there's going to come a moment when this vulture sees the target, it sees the thing that it wants, it sees the thing that is going to feed it, and it has to go for it. And there's going to come that moment when you have to go for it. You have to take action, you have to make a choice, you have to take a step forward. And it's not going to be confusing. Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords. You're going to know that not only is it the right thing, but it's also the right time. And it just is. It just is. Here it is. Boom. Perfect in its form, perfect in its timing, perfect in what it is and how it aligns. And with the energy that you are using to exhibit caution or to protect yourself in some way, that energy will then need to be redirected toward the acquisition. It's a very subtle switch that's going to flip. But when you know, you know. And you will know. Balance spirituality and practicality. And there's kind of a connection with spirit and communicating with spirit or with your guides or, with your higher self or whatever. Communicating and opening that channel so that you actually do know when you know. But then the practicality is the actual steps taken. There will be a lot of people who receive these sort of awakening moments and say, okay, this is it, this is the time, this is the thing, and they will fail to act. They will fail to take the steps forward, and then they will continue to starve or continue to not have that need met in some way. A time to give rather than take. See, and I think that there is a quality of in the meantime, right, with this Five of Cups. In the meantime, there are things that can be done. And to give can mean actual charitable giving. It can mean giving time and energy and attention to someone else. It can mean giving kind of a surrender, even surrendering yourself to spirit. And that's the kind of the spirituality component here. Okay? You're only going to take when it's really right for you, because this vulture, I'm sure, up on that branch can see a lot of things going on, but it's not going to go after just any target, right? So you can allow other people to take the other opportunities. You can allow other people to benefit from the things that don't truly fit with your idea of what you want from life. Okay? Well-deserved reward. Beautiful. I mean, we got a 9 here as well. We have the 9 of coins. There's something in store for you, a success in store for you. Okay, the word reward, I think we all love that, right? To be rewarded for our work, rewarded for our patience. And there is kind of an incentive there for you to kind of lie in wait and to choose the right choice. The payout will be very high. Will be very high. Oh, look at that. Observe. Exactly. There's absolutely a quality of observance with that vulture sitting on that branch. Just allow yourself to be in that state for as long as you feel it's necessary. This is 100% within your purview to decide when and how and where and, all the who, what, where, when, why, how questions, okay? It's totally within your purview. You're kind of in this power seat, but it's very quiet. It's very subtle. It's not delegating to everybody else. It's not telling, it's not forcing anything. It's just here I am, and I'm just going to watch. And I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to shut my mouth. I'm going to open my ears. I'm going to open my heart, open my spirit, and I'm just going to feel. And I'm going to make judgments, not necessarily casting judgments or projections onto people, but making judgments for yourself as to what is good and what is not good for you at this time and place of your life. Very simple, very subtle, very uncomplicated. Oh, well, look at that even too. We have this Libra. So there's the balance. And I love how we have the cups and the swords on either side, because again, it's the head-heart connection. There's something so powerful about having this level of balance. When your head and heart are saying the same thing, you know that that's for you. You know that's the right direction. There's no questioning. There's no hemming and hawing and wishy-washiness. It's just, that's it. That's the thing. That's what I want to go after. That's where I want to dedicate my energy. When I connect to the spiritual realm, I open the door to receive guidance, clear direction, and great wisdom. Sometimes, I swear, these readings, they just are a little too on the nose, right? I mean, when you connect to the spiritual realm, balance spiritual and practicality, you're connecting, right? You are opening your channels in so many different ways. Your ears especially, your heart especially. But you're opening the door to receive divine guidance and direction and great wisdom, which means you're not going to be misled here. There's no reason for you to sit back and second guess and to doubt decisions right now. There's no reason for you to doubt. It's all a part of the higher self communicating with you. It's all about the higher self guiding you. You're being guided. And what's beautiful about this energy is that you are allowing yourself to be led. Grief. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And when we have the Five of Cups, that card does not surprise me in the least, right? The loss, this is what you need to come into acceptance with. And maybe you can use this full moon energy this week to really do that, to come into acceptance, to come into an understanding that this is kind of a meant to be type of place that you find yourself in your life. It's meant to be. It's destined. And there's really not a lot to be sad about. You can allow yourself to feel the sadness and the sorrow and the grief. But it's not about staying here. Okay? Journey. You are on a journey. You are on a trajectory. You are being led. You are allowing yourself to be led. And you are safe. You are safe. Chop wood. We have this balanced spirituality with practicality. This is the practicality. This is the things that need to get done in the meantime. Basic household chores, basic duties at the workplace, basic errands you need to run, just all the basic stuff. And this is a really beautiful place. You know, the mundane is a wonderful match for the spiritual. It's meditative, it's therapeutic. I don't know if this is just me being like a very Virgo type of person, but like for me, one of my favorite things to do is wash the dishes by hand, because I don't know, it's like the warm water and just the process is something so like, I don't know, I just feel so lost in the work when I do that. You may have something similar that somehow you just like to do it. I don't know. It might not necessarily be a household chore. It might be, things out there that you like to do, but, those would be really good things for you to do. And then we have this card of community, which is interesting because I don't see any other community cards coming out here, but your choices at this particular moment in time are not only going to impact you, they are going to impact your family, your coworkers, and a lot of other people. You doing what's best for you is best for all. Sometimes it's important to really remember that. It's not about taking care of everybody else all the time. You taking care of you is taking care of other people. And there might even be a switch in community for you, meaning the people that you associate with on a regular basis. You may feel yourself connecting with new types of people because of the changes that you're making here. And there could be assistance from the community once you make the decision and once you move in the new direction. Quietly, again, this is not a loud reading by any stretch of the imagination. It's kind of like something that will just sort of creep in. And then it will suddenly just be different. And there will be others in this space, in this field, in this industry that can help guide you. They can help you. And they will. Very safe. You're in a very safe, beautiful place right now, pile one. Okay? I'm going to leave you guys with that. Thank you so much. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Take care. Bye-bye. Alrighty, pile number 2. You guys selected the Rose Aura Quartz. Let's go ahead here and take a look. So we start with the Elephant card. Okay. Here we have an elephant holding a fire in its trunk and the third eye being illuminated here almost like with a jewel. There's something majestic, I'll use that word, happening, especially as the sun moves into Leo. You know, there's no excuses right now. There's no excuses to be something that doesn't feel right for you to be. This is a year of pretty significant change, and we can really harness that internally within ourselves by allowing ourselves to follow what feels right. There's an ancient wisdom trying to communicate with you right now in the way that the elephants, they pass down the information, they pass down the knowledge of the trails and where the water holes are as they migrate and move. And there's all of this like ancestral quality. You carrying out something that your ancestors perhaps were not able to do. And you're standing at the forefront of your own life and of the organizations that you belong to, but also at the forefront of your ancestral, of your lineage, right? Of the generations yet to come. And I feel like there's a great responsibility being placed on your shoulders right now. A responsibility of being as true to who you are as you possibly can be. And letting go of the narratives and letting go of all the beliefs of not being enough and all those things that are not real and not valid in any way. And I'm getting a sense that you are evolving and you can feel yourself almost like getting bigger. Feel yourself stepping into the bigness of your soul. Like, I don't know, like, have you guys ever had or been around like large animals? Or have you ever been around like horses or cows or elephants? Have you ever been around them? Like, there's a reason why equine therapy is like a thing, right? Because the bigness and the authenticity of the animal demands you to be as real and authentic as you can. Like, you can't approach a big animal like this with bad vibes. It's dangerous if you do, right? You can't approach the animal with a bad energy. And in a way, I'm almost kind of sensing like you're the big animal here and people can't approach you with bad energy. But in so doing, or in light of this, I guess, you also cannot enter into a room with bad energy either. You have to be walking in honor of what came before. Walking in honor of the work that those that came before have done, right? The path that they laid for you. And to hold on your shoulders the responsibility of continuing to build that path for those who are coming after you. So we have the Queen of, the Hermit. I love with the elephant because there is this wisdom that's kind of very otherworldly here. We have the King of Cups, 8 of Coins, the 3 of Swords, and the 4 of Wands. I guarantee that the seeds that you have been planting are going to begin to bloom and blossom and fruit in some way, shape, or form. I guarantee you are going to see results. But it never really was about the results, was it? For the Hermit, it never is. For the Hermit, it's about extended faith that what's right is right and that will happen in the right time and in the right place and with the right people. And there is no floundering. There is no doubt. There's no room for doubt for you guys right now. There's no room for doubt. There's no room for all these questions, because faulty faith can lead you into a spiral of blind hard work. Hard work that is blind, hard work that is without purpose, and therefore becomes exceptionally unfulfilling. The Hermit does not work hard. The Queen of Coins does not work hard. They work on the basis of faith. Don't get me wrong, you are going to still be doing things, but it won't be hard, because you're going to be channeling the wisdom from inside of you. Look, you guys have something to contribute in the world. This Three of Swords, your life experiences, your pains, your stories, your grievances, your sorrows, those things are the source of your wisdom. Those things are the source of light. They're the source of your awakening. They're the source of your brilliance. And this is a week where you can begin to actually take those things and bring them out into the world in a meaningful way. You can develop products, you can develop strategies, you can develop innovative things that people can use and learn from and take and benefit from. In a way, I'm getting a strong energy of leaving your mark on the world, so to speak. Like, it's your contribution. This is the time for you to truly contribute, because you are standing firm, King of Cups. And I always see the King of Cups, and we also see his eye right here, right? Similar to the third eye being illuminated with this sort of jewel here with the elephant. There's this stability that is deeply rooted, right? It's deeply rooted in faith, deeply rooted in spirituality. And because it is so deeply rooted, it is incredibly stable in the time where many people are not stable, right? I often see the King of Cups as being solid amongst stormy waters, amongst choppy, stormy, oceanic environments. What a gift it is to be as stable as you are. What a gift it is to be as faithful as you are. What a gift it is to be able to see and understand that these Three of Swords pains are ultimately the source of your success. That in the way that your ancestors paid their dues, you too have paid your dues. But now we have this beautiful Four of Wands, which is a suggestion of flourishing, abundance, prosperity, joy, celebration, and all the good things that life truly has to offer. It's a bundle, right? It's a bouquet of abundance. Every area of life. And I feel such a calm for you. And maybe that has to do with the pink color, right? The rose or quartz. There's such emotional calm. Calmness is your superpower right now. All right? Calmness and peacefulness. That is where you are going to be able to truly channel your wisdom and to create something beneficial from it. The energy is gaining momentum. Yeah, I'll say it is. It's gaining momentum in that you are going to be able to, I don't know, like there's this, like it's speeding up. It may have started off a little bit rocky, right? Getting things out of your mind, out of your heart, and into the world. It starts off a little rocky, but eventually you're going to have all this to show for it. And it's almost going to feel like you barely even did anything. It's like someone who is so connected to their inner muse that the information just falls out of them. It just becomes a product. It just becomes a story. It becomes something relevant and useful in the world without really any seeming effort at all. It's like the writer who sits down and the whole story just comes out. The artist who sits down on the blank canvas and the painting just comes out. It's like there's such a deep connection happening right now. Things that may have taken you many, many months before will only take you a matter of days now. As long as you allow it, as long as you don't doubt, as long as you don't second guess yourself. Because that doubt and second guessing is a fearfulness that will, okay, we've got prosperity lies ahead. The doubt and the fear will kind of clog up your energetic channel. There is no doubt in my mind the decisions that you're making and the path that you're building are going to be prosperous for you. I said that already with the Four of Wands, and now here it is again, a reinforcement of that fact. And there's so much internal unity. There's so much. It's just like this, so perfectly yin yang, so perfectly balanced. Well, didn't even mean to do that, but I just happened to see that we have this card of balance here. It's just so perfectly balanced, so perfectly unified. When you are so well put together, it is inevitable that the things that you create, right? Because that's the energy that you put into it, this put together, balanced, yin-yang, beautiful, unified version of whatever you are goes out into the world and creates more of that. Right? If you're developing products, it's a product that helps make people's lives better. If you're telling a story, it's a story that gets people to think and become more unified within themselves. Whatever this Eight of Coins is for you, it's going to make an impact for those. There will be benefit for those that consume and for you as the creator. Choose your battles. There are going to be a lot of people that have a lot to say about what you're doing. A lot of people that have a lot to say about what's going to work and what's not going to work. It's not for them to say. It's not for them to decide. They're on their own path, and you can just let them be on their own path of figuring things out, their own path of development, their own path of whatever it is, that they're on their own path. An elephant never has to justify why it moves in a certain direction. It just goes. And it leads without apology. Your stability, your ability to weather a storm and to remain grounded and rooted during tumultuous times, during times of a lot of change and evolution, is a form of leadership. People will see you. They may not like it at first. That's why we have battles in the first place. They're not going to like it. They're not going to feel comfortable with it because people now are not comfortable with others who are in their power. The light is too bright. They cannot even look at it. Your light is getting brighter, as with fire. It's getting brighter. It's getting bigger. It's getting more destructive. You destructing or destroying, I guess, you destroying obstacles. Other people feel very comfortable being hindered by obstacles, so they don't like it when you don't have any. Earth, stability. And that goes very well with the King of Cups and the Queen of Coins. Emotional stability and stability and faith. I honestly don't think that you guys have any, I don't know, like, I don't even think you have a choice this week. It just is like this groundedness, this feeling sure in who you are, this feeling secure in your own thoughts, feeling secure in your emotions, feeling secure in your decisions. Like, there's no guessing. If you find yourself guessing or second guessing, that is going to be an excellent time to do a meditation. It's going to be an excellent time to breathe. Okay? Because worry and thoughts of doubt, absolutely useless right now. Absolutely useless. The more I attune my energy with appreciation, the more the universe will deliver. Prosperity is the point of all of this. For many of you, it is financial prosperity. Others of you, it's prosperity of love. It's prosperity of family, or of having children, or of succeeding with a particular pitch to a client. I don't know what it is for you, but it's to be aligned with the winning energy. To align with being a winner, of being a successful person, of being a person who completes things, who carries out a mission with honor. A lot of self-respect. Leo season is fantastic for working on that if you feel that you are lacking in any way, because self-respect is the one thing that you definitely have control over. And if you don't feel that you respect yourself, ask yourself why. And it's likely that the reason you don't is simply because you're not doing what you say you want to do. So this is an opportunity with Venus coming into Virgo, and eventually on the 29th, Mars comes into Virgo. This is your chance to put your money where your mouth is. You don't respect yourself, you feel undeserving. Start doing things and changing habits and changing mindsets. They won't even give you enough time to even think about how you don't respect yourself. I mean, that's silly, right? We come into acceptance of things. Acceptance. I am learning to accept the things I cannot change. That's a very, AA type of thing, right? Isn't that a part of like the serenity prayer or something like that? I learned to accept the things I cannot change. There are things in the past you cannot change. There are things in other people you cannot change. It is not your problem. You want speed in your life, gaining momentum. You want to gain momentum. You want prosperity. You have to focus on you. You have to focus on this inner knowing that this direction is for you. You've met those people, right? That have that innate clarity. Sometimes it's like not fair of how clear people actually are. People who know what they're meant to do from like the age of 5. Not all of us are so fortunate. Some of us are, but not all of us are. But this is your chance to step into that knowingness. And you first do that by not worrying about anything that is without your control. 5th chakra, Archangel. There is something about creation and self-expression, 8 of Coins. There is something you're putting out into the world, whether it's ideas or an actual physical something. Okay, there's something you're putting out there. And it's going to be useful, but that is all 5th chakra energy. It's creation. It's creating form. Don't hold yourself back. I'm not telling you to just go out there and put all your opinions out there, unless it's, like, here's a perspective that I want to offer the world. Then, of course, you can do that. But it's not like you're just without thought, without rhyme or reason, just going out there and saying a bunch of stuff. This is all very purposeful and channeled through kind of this sort of higher knowing. It's channeled. And then we have this orphaned energy, okay. Orphaned because You are on your own. There's not really a feeling of community coming out here. There's not a feeling of necessarily working together. I'm not saying you're not going to work together with people, but generally speaking, you're on your stand. This is Leo season. It's stand-alone time. Self-reliance, standing alone, standing firm, standing strong. You're the only one that can sit in that throne. That throne is not built for two, it's built for one. And if you ever want to have successful relationships, if you want to have successful endeavors, build successful businesses, work successfully with others on projects, if you want that, you have to be strong within yourself. Which is not a time to be flimsy. It's not a time to be, like bendable, really. That's Virgo season later on. You can be flexible later on, but right now it's a fixed season, fixed fire, fixed passion, fixed expression. Okay, and then we have gateway. Beautiful. And honestly, the whole of 2021 is a gigantic gateway. And even as we move into 2022 as well, with Saturn through Aquarius, because we have this radical change, this revolutionary, a time of revolution, a time of making significant change with our thought patterns, our behavioral patterns, our habits, and kind of just in terms of the big things in life with our relationships, our jobs, our careers, our children, our friend groups, all those kinds of things. We have an opportunity here and now to make changes in the areas that do not serve us anymore. We get to find freedom from those things. We get to walk through the gateway. All right, there's something very magical and transformative about what's coming out for you guys right now. And I'm not just trying to sit here and hype you guys up, but maybe you guys need to be hyped up a little bit of like, yes, you can do it. It's okay to believe in yourself. It's okay to, have faith in your thoughts and ideas. It's okay to trust what you're feeling and where you're going. It's okay to not falter or not exhibit self-doubt in your decisions. It's okay to feel firm and secure. Because that's really what these cards are saying. You're in such good form. There's no way you're going to make a mistake. Okay? All right, you guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Big reading. You guys know I love you. I wish you nothing but the best. Take care. Bye-bye. All right, pile number 3, you guys selected the Smokey Quartz. I'll let you guys in on a little secret. I actually bought this Smokey Quartz in Hollywood, but this has officially become like my absolute favorite crystal, and I have no idea why, but literally my absolute favorite. So here we have this first card, which is the hawk energy, which of course is connected with the air element. There's something so radiant about this, right? With the wingspan, spread out so far, flying, there's movement, there's action. You're creating waves, and I don't know how you're doing that exactly, but you're doing it with your thoughts, you're doing it with your emotions, how you feel about things, how you're choosing to feel about things. And there's a quality of soaring. Now, you may not necessarily feel that you are soaring in this particular moment. However, there are going to be chances, opportunities, decisions that you can make and things that you can do to get yourself unstuck if you feel stuck, or to get yourself higher up if you're feeling like you're wanting to achieve more. And as the sun progresses into Leo this week, we make our way into a full moon, and we have Venus entering into Virgo, and then next week we have Mars entering into Virgo and Mercury entering into Leo. There's a lot of this Virgo-Leo stuff going on. So we have the passion and the fire of Leo, the creativity, the self-expression, the desire to give ourselves in some way, shape, or form to the world. And then Virgo, which helps us to implement and apply and plan and strategize and to carry things through. And this is kind of the time of the year that we all wait for, right? Because the seeds that we've been planting since March, April-ish kind of come into fruition during August, September, and October. This is like harvest season. So things are really starting to come full circle here. And you have this sort of freedom quality coming out. Okay, so we have this Five of Swords, Ace of Wands, King of Swords. Actually, let's move these a little bit. And we have the Hanged Man, Five of Wands, and the Knight of Wands. Okay. A lot of wand energy. Let's start with the Five of Swords, though, right here. The Five of Swords is really about letting go of the narrative, all the things you tell yourself. Now, this right here requires a great deal of humility. And we look at this hawk spirit, it is soaring very, very high, which means it cannot have tethers. And one of the hardest things, people can tell us that we're wrong all day long, right? People can tell us that the way we're thinking about something is hindering us all day long. But until we decide or come into an understanding that a story that we're telling ourselves is hurting us, only then can we be free from that narrative. This has to come from inside. And I have a feeling, and this is such Virgo energy, right? That sort of self-effacing criticism of like, okay, you have to stop doing it like this. You have to stop thinking like this. You have to stop behaving like this. You have to stop this pattern, this habit, whatever. This is Five of Swords. Stopping the pattern. Stopping the thought process. Because that thought process is no longer valid. It's not helping you, it's anchoring you. Humility, humility, humility has to be like, you have to be humble enough to realize that something you think is not right for you. We always want to be so right, don't we, as human beings? We always want to be so right about what we think. But this King of Swords right here, he's powerful enough, he's strong enough, and he's dedicated enough to his ultimate rise, which we see with the hawk getting higher and higher and higher and more successful, right, with its hunting that it does when it's flying around. The King of Swords is smart enough to know that there are things that maybe he doesn't know. He's smart enough to know that maybe his own mind can trip him up. And this Ace of Wands in between, this is a symbol of liberation and freedom. This is a symbol of using your heart. Because right now the mind is maybe an unreliable source. King of Swords, as much as he is a ruler of air, right? The swords representing the air element, you're coming out as an air symbol as well. As much as he is a ruler of thought, he is more than capable of being connected with the spirit. And he knows when to switch the mind on and when to switch the mind off. He knows how to use the mind as a tool, and he knows how to use the spirit as a tool. The spirit as a vehicle to transport from one place to the next. He understands the purpose of desire. The desire is really what gets us. It's how our spirit communicates with us. It's how our spirit moves us. Right now, I think the spirit is talking and the mind needs to be put in its place a little bit. And right now we have this hanged man energy, which can make you feel like, right, totally tied up, completely forced to surrender. Like you don't really have a lot of control over things right now. There's an evolution happening. There's a growth. There's an expansion happening. And the Spirit is going to kind of tie you up here because this is still present. Because you're not free yet. This is an alchemical process that's going on, and the Hanged Man is a beautiful way. I'm actually I'm beginning to, I'm kind of deciding that this is like my second favorite card of all the tarot. It's like the Hierophant is first, and then the Hanged Man is second. Because the Hanged Man is a very honest view in terms of how much we actually have control over. Very little. And when you're in control of how little you have control, you become even that much more empowered and that much more capable of soaring higher and higher and higher. King of Swords, he doesn't want control. He's an Aquarius energy. He wants to feel love. He wants to give love. He wants to receive love. And he knows that love itself is what brings us to these higher states. This is not an energy of love. And if you can be in this Hanged Man's state and deal with this Five of Wands sort of chaos and deal with other people's opinions and other people's ideas, and you cannot participate in the drama of life itself, you become enlightened beyond measure. This Hanged Man is actually really connected with the story of Odin being hung up on the tree of, the tree of life, I think, being hung up on the tree. And, channeling the meanings of the runes. Like there's kind of a divination kind of aspect, connecting with an intelligence that's greater than your own. And I think right now, that's what the universe needs from you. Putting down your belief that you are so right about things, connecting with a higher intelligence, allowing your heart to open and lead and guide, and allowing whatever, right? Because I think this Five of Wands is like the effect of what happens when you kind of take on this sort of persona of the King of Swords. People freak out because you're not interacting with them in the way that you normally interact with them. You are changing, you are evolving. People who are not evolving are going to, get frustrated with you. They're going to get frustrated with how things are or are not turning out, right? But you, day by day, with this beautiful Knight of Wands, I love this card because it's so I love how she's got this beautiful red hair. The red with the passion and the fire and that root chakra kind of energy, feeling so stable and secure and fearless. This is you becoming fearless in your process, becoming fearless in your connection with God or the divine, with spirit itself. Exhibiting so much faith that it makes people really uncomfortable. Faith is what brings you into higher consciousness. It's what allows you to soar higher. There's a lot of success, prosperity, wealth, love that comes in, and it's not just a regular relationship. It's not just a regular amount of money. This is the potential for excessive amounts. But it's not because you're chasing it. It's because you're vibrating at that frequency. King of Swords knows that he doesn't have to chase anything. Knight of Wands knows that it's just about the process. It's just about the journey. It's about the fun of the adventure. This is supposed to be fun. And people who are so stuck in their way of thinking, they're not going to have fun. I mean, it completely just totally puts the kibosh on the whole thing. Five of Swords is very much a party pooper. I mean, it's just it ruins it. Your own mind has the potential to ruin it. Okay? Your commitment is being tested. And this is the commitment to your higher intelligence, your commitment to your soul's purpose or destiny or whatever. Now, don't get caught up. The destiny, right? The purpose, it's not necessarily something that you have to do, but rather something that you just are. This is awakening inside of you, this more authentic beingness. It's kind of shedding the layers of these false identities that we acquire here on earth. You're becoming more and more soulful, more and more pure. You are becoming purified. The more purified you become, the higher you fly. These birds may be huge, but they are light, right? They're not heavy. They're not like these, they're like bones are hollow, right? They're full of feathers and fluff. They like weigh like nothing, right? So, they are capable of getting very high. Step out of your comfort zone. Exactly. This is not a comfortable position to be in. But if you can get comfortable with being uncomfortable, then you're golden. If you can get comfortable with humility and thinking to yourself, well, maybe I'm not thinking about this properly. Maybe there is something to someone else's point of view. Maybe there is a different way of looking at this. Maybe there's some validity to what they're saying. Listen. Listen and receive, because you are going to be receiving incredible guidance, incredible perspective shifts for the sake of your own betterment. This is a really good time to stop talking. I'm not saying don't express yourself, okay, because it is Leo season. That's kind of a guarantee here, but it's a more pure expression that is unadulterated, right? This is a very kind of pollutant kind of vibe. It's polluted. You express yourself, but from a place of pure spirit. Oh, and love, exactly, simply love. This is love of the highest order, love of the Creator in itself. And it's a very simple love. It's not, again, adulterated or polluted by all these complexities. The more and more you love, the more conscious you become, the more open-minded you become, the higher you soar. This is all about your own elevating through the process of letting go, through the process of surrender, through the process of acceptance. Oh, listen. Yes, I love this card. You listen to others, maybe. You listen to spirit, for sure. You listen to your inner knowing. Doing so through the power of self-reflection. Stepping into that role of being an observer. Through catching yourself before you project judgments. Have you ever tried to go a day without judging? It's nearly impossible. But if you can maybe do an exercise where for an hour, you try to catch yourself every time you cast a judgment towards someone or something, you realize how you are creating your own reality through judgments. It's an incredible exercise. I've done it before. It's really hard. Cancer, beautiful. There's a returning back home. Cancerian energy is so potent with where we came from. The home and family, yes, but even beyond the roots on this earth. It's the true root, the true connection to source itself. That's what all this is for. To remember who you really are. Your thoughts are not who you are. Your emotions are not who you are. None of that defines you in any way. It's just a set of preferences, but it has nothing to do with who you are. And the more you get to know who you are, the more you understand who everybody else is, and your connection with humanity becomes so strong because your compassion becomes inevitable. Because you understand that if you know who you are and you are the same as everyone else, how can you not have compassion? When you see someone in their own Five of Swords state of mind, the only thing you can feel is compassion. Compassion for their process, compassion for their imprisonment, compassion for their own struggle, which is similar to your own struggles. I feel my way into faith one step at a time. See, with the Hanged Man, faith is really the only way. You are so tied up, so suspended, so delayed, that all you can do is just say, okay, I'm here. This is where I am. It's full and absolute surrendered acceptance. And maybe that surrendered state is what's out of your comfort zone. Regret. I know that I cannot change the past. And that's one thing not worth thinking about. It was what it was. It happened the way it happened. You cannot turn back the clock. You cannot speed the clock up. You are just here. And I feel like certain decisions in the future that you cannot perceive or you cannot see right now, that the certain decisions of the future are dependent on your acceptance of the things that happened. If you want the healthy relationships, if you want the financial reward, if you want the recognition, if you want these things, you cannot be hanging on to the pain of less conscious decisions of the past. You are not today who you were yesterday. The garden and the gate. See, there is a quality of a gateway. This was also in pile number 2 as well. 2021 as a whole, as a big, gigantic, year-long gateway. Okay? We have the opportunity here to walk through. And actually, I would say that this has a lot to do with Saturn being in Aquarius. So actually, up until the end of 2022, we have these choices, these chances to make significant change in our life for the sake of living in a world that is full of flowers and fruit. We just have to walk through the gate. We have to allow ourselves to take those steps. And sometimes in order to take those steps, we have to realize or come into the knowledge of what has been preventing us from taking those steps up to this point. So we can release ourselves from the power of those things and walk through freely and without baggage. Not for you. And there will be things and there will be people that you cannot engage with if you actually really want to get to where you say you want to get. This, again, it's okay to want things. You know, I know that in the spiritual community, there's a lot of I think Alan Watts said it best, we can never really be desireless. Because even wanting to be desireless is a desire in and of itself. Desire is a part of this whole, it's inescapable. Desires can be used. They are tools, just as thoughts, just as emotions. They're They are tools for progress, tools for elevation. And there are going to be things that you don't want. If you don't want them, they are not for you. And purity. And I think I even may have used that word, purity. You're being purified. You're being stripped down. Piece by piece by piece. Belief by belief by belief. All of these things being eliminated from your repertoire. You may find yourself being a little bit more quiet, a little bit more meditative or pensive, maybe even a little bit melancholy. But it's the quiet ones that are usually the most wise. It's the quiet ones that usually have the most profound points of view, that have the most wisdom to offer, right? So your self-expression comes through the form of what you create, your artwork, your writing, even your work, your development, your innovations. But you let the products and the results do the talking for you. You don't have to talk. You don't have to defend. You don't have to justify. It all just simply is. Really beautiful reading for you guys. You guys know I love you. I wish you absolutely nothing but the best. I hope you have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you guys very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.